tapping licks. This is fun. So sorry, I gotta reposition my camera or my guitar. So when it comes to tapping, you see Eddie Van Halen do it. There's like. So there's kind of a trick to it. For me, technique-wise, I play tapping with where I kind of bend the note. So, like for example, I'll hit the B flat here, third string, third fret, and then I'll hammer on to the D there, and I'll kind of bend it. Sorry, bending up to that C, or E, sorry. And then I'll hammer on. I'll hammer, so I'll go. That's kind of a good way to start is you do tapping within, so you're hitting one fret, and then my note is you either do things 2 frets away, so like, when I hit the fifth fret here, I hammer onto the 7th. It just, because it's hitting notes in the scale, G minor. So that would be like a G minor tapping lick. But I also do like pentatonic. So when you hit down to the 6th fret here, you would, instead of hammering on the 7th, you would hammer on the 8th. So and then up the pentatonic. So, and then there's also, it's like a hammer-on pull-off that I do. And tap, combination. And then you can just, kind of go off the fretboard. So the best part is when you want to learn tapping is to go slow. I don't even know how I even started tapping. It just kind of came to me one day when I saw Steve Vai do it or something, and one of my teachers, and it was just like, oh, so what is the reason behind tapping? He was like, sound cool, So, and you can do it anywhere on the neck. And you don't have to add a lot of pressure. So I guess you know, that's kind of a trait that I have is I bend the note up a step. And kind of pinch my nail to where it's kind of like a harmonic. I know I'm not the best tapper in the world or the cleanest tapper, but you know, it's kind of a fun thing to do. I mean, then you got your legato, which I totally am bad at. But yeah, it's kind of a fun thing, you know, technique-wise. You know, picking. I'm using a thumb pick right now, but there's always different dynamics to picking. You know, there's angled, flat, you know, alternate. You know, there's always different tones to different styles of picking. You know, you can brush it up like that at the bridge, you know. And you get completely a different tone, you know. So I mean, picking in itself is just an art in its own, you know. To just sit there, you know, don't even worry about your left hand and just practice your picking. However you decide to go picking. And with me, you know, some people like Zach Wilde, they're like, rah, 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 you know, for me is economy of motion. So your wrist kind of moves, but what I do is I move my thumb, which allows my wrist to move slightly, so your hand doesn't strain as much. So, like for example, when I'm doing, let me turn my camera a little bit. So, like when I'm picking, see, there's very minimal movement. So you know, you hear different tonalities there. So that's kind of a big thing. Is picking in itself. You know, there's hybrid picking, tremolo picking, alternate picking. You know, those are just a couple of them. Now, when it comes to your left hand, is having economy of motion and dexterity. I learned this in college. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. It's a little picking exercise where it's just chromatic. Or you go 1. And the best part is economy of motions, where you don't need to lift up your fingers. You don't need to go, because that just, you know, it's useless motion. So economy of motion, and then alternating it. So let's say you do 1, 2, 3, 4, do 2, 4, 1, 3. Yeah, you get the point. So yeah, but go slow. So like that, I messed it up. So and they have all different, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, you know, all different combinations. There's at least like 8 of them. So go Start out slow, and then the main goal is for your left hand is to make sure every note rings perfectly clear. And then when it comes to, thumb position, you see Hendrix like do that. Certain people do this, for dexterity. Some people just do the flat thumb like that. Me, I do a combination of the, thumb there, for economy of motion. But then I'm also like, it's right behind the neck. For everybody, it's a little bit different. Whatever most feels comfortable for them. So that's one thing. Excuse me. When it comes to, like learning chords, for example, you wanna, that's a D chord, in the second inversion. Make sure the notes, ring out completely fine. But you also want to, when you first start out, like you'll realize when you're making that shape, you realize your tendons will start getting tense, especially if you're a new player. So what you want to do is take note for note, and then build upon that, and then maybe go down to the D here, and see how that plays. And if you can't do that A, just go down to the D and see how that feels, and then combine them, and then try A to F sharp, which is a sixth, and try those two notes, and then just try F sharp, combine that, and then try combining all three, and then also moving that up and down the neck, because as your left hand will start getting a little bit easier, grabbing that shape on certain frets, but at the same time, like when you get way up here, you're kind of scrunched, kind of like a wadded up Kleenex or something, so take each individual chord. That's why the best part is make sure you hear each individual note, so pluck it individually. And then strum the chord. Because if you're just, going to try to strum, and then you hear like a fumbled note, you're going to get frustrated because, oh, why isn't the whole chord sounding out? It's like a building block, like when you're younger, you play with Legos. Well, if you're going to build the world's biggest Lego castle, you got to have a foundation. And then, it's kind of a funny analogy, but the foundation is a note, to build up on a chord. A chord, just think of a chord as like a step, going upstairs. Well, you hit the first step, then you hit the second step, and then you're at the top, because chords are, triads are built in thirds, so you're going up 3 steps. But in each different chord, certain chords hurt more than others. The C is kind of a stretch. So, for example, a stretching exercise would be to, go 1, 2, 3, 4, stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, stretch with your pinky. And then try different things, like where then you do 1, 2, stretch, with your third, and then you just do all different patterns to stretch out your fingers. Or what you could do, this is what I learned from my old teacher, Bobby Stanton. I'm gonna do it without a pick, but you grab a major 7, like an F major 7 as the 15th fret. So it's F on the D string, 15th fret, A on the 14th fret on the 3rd string, C on the B string on the 13th fret, and then 12th fret, and then you do. And you just move one finger below, one finger below, keeping, I haven't done this in a while, one finger below, and then, so you keep moving one finger by keeping all the other fingers planted till you create a new major 7 chord, which I need to work on this, but you move all the way from the 15th fret all the way up to till you hit the F sharp major 7, F sharp major 7. So there's a couple things, and it's always good to brush up on these type of things, like even this is what I would call warm-ups, because if you just go into your daily routine, practice routine, just by you're gonna get wore out very quickly. Your hands are gonna start to hurt. So excuse me, I'm tired. Do 5 minutes of just exercise. One is slightly bending your fingers back one by one to make your hands more limber. Not too much, and then you just bend back the palm like that, and then you also bend it forward and do that like 3 times, and then try doing this. That's what I do. I call it the web, the duck web. And then do it with this hand too, your picking hand, and then kind of flange your fingers to make the blood flow more, and then go slowly. Take a deep breath before you start anything. Go. So let's say your exercise, for 3 minutes is just doing this chromatic thing. Okay, well, after 3 minutes, take a break. Go get a cup of coffee or something or whatever. When people say get a practice schedule, work on all these chords, scales, arpeggios, and whatever. Well, not every player is like that, and they just want to learn what they want to learn. Maybe it's just campfire chords, but maybe in their practice routine is those regiments of chromaticism to get their fingers limber, which is always good no matter what style you play. And then move on to the next thing on your list. Instead of doing, let's say, all 12 keys right away, pick 1 or 2 keys a day and run those 5 to 7 or 12 positions of that one key, and then go take a break, and then start your next regimen of whatever you're doing, whether it's picking exercises or repertoire or more scales, different variations of scales, doing scales in thirds, Sorry that took a sec. Everybody's human. We all make mistakes, Um, and run scales in seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths. They all get complicating. But maybe just work on one or two positions. And that's one of the biggest things. So if you sign up for lessons at Shedora School of Music, we will work on different types of variations on how to do certain things, learning songs, chords, repertoire, anything that is geared towards the students' wants and needs. I'm not going to be, we're not one of those type of teachers to just say, oh, you're doing this incorrectly, or you have to do it this way, or you're doing it the wrong way, or you have to learn all this music theory, or you have to learn all this, or have to learn all that. Well, that's what gets kids discouraged, is because, some educators, they just are like, oh, well, you have to do all this stuff, Well, it's like, not everybody is at a college level, Some people just want to learn how to play a C chord, and that's it, So whatever the students' wants and needs are, I accommodate to, I have a vast, extensive knowledge of music theory and stuff like that, so if that's what you want to get into, I do incorporate theory into my lessons, but it also helps build the musicianship as a player moves along with their progress, no matter if they're just playing campfire chords or a Steve Vai tune, so yeah, that's if you have any questions, you can call me at 651-302-8243, or text me as well. I receive text on my phone, and visit ShedorSchoolOfMusic.com. And Shedore is spelled Shedore. Thank you, and have a great day.